Hello and welcome to another episode of New Game Plus Quarantine Edition. I am your host Jason, and we are here again, still in our nice little corner. We've got our anime figures in our danger sign. We're safe. We're feeling comfortable. We're doing a lot more content using this setup, and so now we are still doing everything that we can to make television for you to watch that you are going to enjoy. But for now, we have some great reviews and some great content. We have a bit of a I don't know. It's a bit of a tongue-in-cheek disaster gaming segment. I might keep going. I'm gonna try and do one or two every month or so. Anyway, you'll see. You'll see what I mean. Murasaki Gemu comes back with Snack Attack 2, where we eat more Japanese stuff and give you a bit of a rundown on what's good and what's bad if you see it at your local grocer. And we also have a review of Resident Evil 3. But for now, something completely different.
Today, I am talking about Wet Hot American Summer, which was a 2001 comedy film written by David Wayne and Michael Showalter about the last day of a summer camp. While summer camps are mainly an American thing, I think they have so much part of pop culture that you can enjoy it regardless of whether if even if you never went on a summer camp. It also stars a remarkable number of people who were just about to be famous or were pretty well known and sort of, I guess, enjoyed the script. So that list includes Paul Rudd, Bradley Cooper, Elizabeth Banks, Amy Poehler, Kristen Maloney, David Hyde Pierce, H.J. Benjamin, and many more that you'll recognize as main characters or sort of side characters. It's incredibly silly and funny as you watch up to the antics and the crazy adventures that the student, the kids, and the counselors get up to. Netflix ended up making two original series because the film was a cult classic. They came out recently, like 2015, 2016. And one is a prequel series set on the first day of camp, and one is set 10 years later. And most of the cast, plus some extras, returned for that. And it also has a weird viewing order because of how it was made and released. So I'd recommend watching the movie, the prequel series, the movie again, and then the 10 years later. It's all on Australian Netflix. It's very funny. You'll know right away if it's your sort of humor. I definitely recommend it. It's a silly, fun romp to take your mind off what's happening.
Now, we all like to joke and meme about coronavirus and all of the implications of what that has for modern society, but obviously games have covered this in great detail, and I figured it was worth checking out some of the best disaster games from both, I guess, a practical point of view and a enjoyment point of view, because we know the classics: Fallout, Last of Us, Metro. There's plenty of games that are set in like a post-apocalyptic world. It's all different causes: nuclear bombs, mind control fungus. There's heaps of them, right? But the thing to take away from it is they all cover those same themes, and there are some interesting takes on it as well that you may not expect. And I speak, of course, this time of Disaster Report 4, which is basically set in Japan, in like a not really like major city, but it's like a fake name major city. It could be basically any major city in Japan. And you're riding on a bus and this earthquake hits. And the interesting take on it compared to, say, a Fallout, or especially Fallout New Vegas, or even a Last of Us, is that like the morality in it goes the complete other way. Whereas Last of Us is a set story, you play Joel's story through to completion, and I know that triggers Demi, but that's fine. Fallout, you have these moral choices, these grand philosophical moral choices to make. This one's a little bit more straightforward. You literally kind of pick your personality. You've got like 7 reactions to pick from every situation. So it's, are you optimistic? Are you pure survival mode? Are you looking after people you like? It's got interesting ways to deal with these situations, and all of them have consequences based on the outcomes. So the disaster happens, the earthquake happens, and you're dealing with the fallout of that. But you have to then go do all these smaller missions. So one of the missions might be so the starting one, you have to find a bunch of schoolgirls. Now all the schoolgirls are very different personalities. Like there's a bully, and there's like the awkward nerdy girl, and then there's the teacher who is like, trying to become a teacher and be the best person she could be. Now you can avoid all of that. You just go, nah, I don't really care. Or you can play it to try and get a shot with the teacher. Or you can chat to all these different people and try and play them off against each other. But they're setting up for this grand morality play, and I don't know. It's such an interesting take on it. Even if the game itself is kind of buggy, like the thing to keep in mind is that it's a real compared to the budget, obviously, of some of these AAA games. It's way more smaller scale setups. It's way more, you should have done this, you should have done that, but without being quick time eventy. So, a building's literally about to collapse, and if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, you're dead. Dead. That's it. And that's kind of how it works, like the building collapses on your head. You didn't make it out of the thing. Game over. And I like that about it. And I think that there's an interesting scene, at the start of the game as well, where you go into a convenience store and there's like a series of events that ends up with you giving water to a guy that you sent this guy who was chasing that guy on a different direction, or you could have told the truth. Whatever it is, you help him out. And then someone comes out claiming to be the manager of the store and starts ripping people off and all that. And so it is about getting involved in these situations, and they're all very realistic situations. Like, none of them really feel out of place. It's just, like I said, the game is a little bit... It's more focused on the individual survival, so, having the right tools, having med kits, having food, having water, than it is necessarily about combat. There's no combat. There's no... you're not shooting the heads off super mutants. You're not killing fungus heads. None of this is a factor, like, at all. And as a result, it feels more honest. And yes, it feels probably more boring, but that's why they play up the morality play. And it is an interesting way to see, what one of the scenes is, do you choose to help this person on the basis thing, and then you get screwed over. And so all of the little morality plays come together in this big thing. And I've seen every facet, that every individual morality question that I've had come up so far in that game, I've seen happen because of coronavirus. So it's interesting. I genuinely couldn't think of better timing for it to come out than right now. Like, it is such a good way to go, oh, well, okay, what would this situation bring out? What would this situation bring out? The problem for me is I can't play these games anything other than the way I would play them. People say, like, I'm going to do a good playthrough, I'm going to do a bad playthrough. I can't do it. I just can't. I have to just play it the way I'm going to play it. So, look, when it's all said and done, you might survive the earthquake, and that's great. And the best bet to survive the earthquake is to balance those, I want to get out of here, I want to survive, I want to do this, and, try to help everyone around you, because, many hands make light work. But luckily, the game doesn't go down into the full Mad Max nitty-gritty of it, of breaking off into tribes and, like, cannibalizing people. So that's nice, at least. But it's also a little bit different for video games. So, I don't know, if you're looking for solutions to not only surviving coronavirus, but also surviving giant Tohoku earthquakes, check out the Disaster Report 4. All right, welcome to another round of Murasaki Gemu's snack test. Now, I've specifically gone out of my way to pick stuff that you can find in Australia, because as much as anything, we at the moment, we can't leave the country. So I can say, try this when you're over in the old country. We did have the cocoa curry chips, which were a special delicacy.
Phenomenal.
It was incredible.
Absolutely
It was
amazing.
amazing.
Yep. And so they were the import. Everything else that I've had for last week, I got locally. Right. I won't say where from. Well, no, maybe I'll do it. Yeah, I'll put it in the comments. Yeah. I've got sweet ones this time.
We got more.
It's sweet tests.
I cannot wait. I'm a sweet tooth kind of gal.
So
I'm here for it.
this is all stuff that I got locally, either like somewhere in the city or like pretty local. Do you want to just get straight? If you have a preference, what's your preference? Most of it's chocolatey.
Take me on a journey.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do this.
So let's start with the classics. The classic Meiji block.
That's very Willy Wonka
which
of
is,
you.
of course, the standard one you'll see pretty much anywhere. You'll find in Daisos, you'll find in Asian Grocers.
I'm yet to have it.
Really?
Same.
So this is Meiji Milk, so it's different from Meiji Dark.
You like Meiji Dark more?
I do like Meiji Dark more. You've spoiled my next segue. Fuck you. But let's try Meiji Milk. Do you want to break your own?
It looks like Willy Wonka. Is there a golden ticket in that? That's a classic block design.
Good luck trying to get there with these flight restrictions.
I won't share because of this.
Nah, don't talk to me. Don't look at me.
No, it's fine.
I'll just break some each.
Social distancing, guys.
Well, I've had it before, but I'll have some anyway.
So there's a Meiji print on it. It's like a real thin.
I'm not sure how macro we can get on these cameras.
It's like Milka
Yeah.
size. If you think of the thickness, it's like Milka. And that, I have anyone remembers Milka.
Oh, they're better than the gold coins at Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh, the gold coins are dog shit.
Oh, whoa, they're amazing.
So this is compound chocolate like the gold coin. So it's a
Okay.
very good comparison.
Appreciate
because
that.
it's still compound chocolate, not like, so the rule is always Meiji because it's easy, Morinaga because it's like good. And Morinaga stuff is usually the better brand.
But
That's all I'll say. If you're over there, you're not going to find Morinaga in Australia.
But it's hard to come by.
It's
Right.
much harder to come by in Australia. So, oh, good.
Yeah,
All right.
Yep.
I could knock this back with some Boss Black Cafe au lait. Let's not address that. You know what I mean.
I haven't got an
Bring on the
appetite
next
anymore.
one, please.
Meiji Black. He called it already. There we are.
The
It
better.
is the better one. I think Meiji Black is the better chocolate. I find the other one just a little bit too milky, a little bit too sweet. But let's see.
Less sweet, more bitter.
I find
Just
there's
like
like
You
how-
a
never had this.
there's a Tokyo 2020 sticker on this, which could be a
That is rip. Oh, the collector's edition. Doesn't matter.
Can't resell these in 2 years' time. Give up. Please.
You want Meg? I'll give
yeah,
it to
you
Meg
bet.
first, yeah.
Thank you. Now, if I don't like dark chocolate, is this for me?
It's still not dark by any stretch.
Great.
Oh.
Like, yeah. I'll just have one little bit. I'll give the rest to the crew afterwards. That's how we feed them. That's how we keep them.
Let's commit to less sweet, more bitter.
Yeah, I love this actually. It's not bitter at all.
No.
Yeah,
That's not dark. That's not dark.
correct. It's like mid.
Yeah.
Even then, it's basically milk.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, because people, obviously in Australia, we're a bit spoiled for dark chocolate, in that we have a lot of really good quality dark chocolates we've imported, or we even make here. This is not what you would consider a true dark chocolate. It is in the probably like 55% cacao or something like that. But I mean, dark chocolate to me is 70, 85.
Yeah, I completely agree.
If you're a
So-
chocolate snob, get onto that. That's fantastic.
Pretty good. That one's another one. Figured we'd do something a little bit different. So this is ice cream and like maple syrup ice cream flavored.
Waffles?
So, no, it's just a little chocolate.
Like
thing.
filled
Just so I can
chocolate.
read it properly. So banira, so vanilla for one, and do you want to?
Aisu.
Aisu.
Caramel.
Carameru.
These
but
guys are
aisu.
fluent
Aisu,
speaking
yes.
Japanese, and I'm here
Oh,
just looking
we're
at
not
the glittery
fluent, we're not
packaging right
fluent,
now.
we're not fluent,
We're not fluent.
We just want to make that 100% clear. So let's open her up.
The packaging was glittery. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Where's the look 2 come from? Like, what's it, like,
Wow.
Look, it's 2 different flavors.
got them.
We've got the curse of Japan is always that there's too many
Packaging
Layers.
and packaging and
Yeah.
packaging
Too
and
many
packaging.
packaging.
And then what you do is you put that in 3 more plastic bags that convenient. And
Yeah.
you get home and you're like, why is my apartment covered in trash?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
That's more of a
So this
personal
isn't
problem.
like a wafer situation, is it?
No,
Yeah,
there's like, they're all like individual little things. So they come in a
I'm
little
trying to think
tray.
of a parallel. Like Australian chocolate would be like a Kinder. What's the
Come in a
filled
little tray.
ones?
Yeah.
They've got
One-
look on the top of it, so you can look for one if you want.
I'm gonna get that cheeky little.
So I don't know if it actually separates them, so you'll have to guess which one you've got. Have you got Karamaru or
Karamaru.
Banari?
It's got caramel in it. There's like a little slit of
Mine's vanilla, so these ones are
caramel in
vanilla.
there.
All right.
Yum.
Hit me with that vanilla. I'm into
the
this.
back ones are
I'm into this way
Mm-hmm.
more than Meiji. The variety is there. With Meiji, I feel like it's just the same goddamn thing. Like,
Yeah.
I can't eat a full bar of that.
The texture.
It does taste like vanilla ice cream. I'll say that. Like it doesn't taste just like vanilla. It's got a little bit of that kind of ice cream.
But even better if it was chilled. Straight
Agreed.
from the fridge.
Yeah.
It is a bit warm today, so I will agree on that. Let's get rid of that one.
Caramel almost
Now-
feels like it has a bit of a coffee sort of vibe as well.
This is Meiji's fancy ones, Melty Kiss, because of course it has to be a name like Melty.
Weirdly sexual. Yeah, cool.
Weirdly wholesome. That's how you look at it, right?
Save the weirdly sexual talk. So again, every single one of them is individually wrapped because you know who cares about plastic waste in the current environment?
Hygiene.
1, 2, 3.
Completely
It's
valid.
good for the coronavirus world. It's not good for any other situation.
Weird byproduct of coronavirus.
Whoa.
It's
Oh,
completely
it's truffle. It's got truffle on it, definitely.
destroying the
It's like
planet.
a soft coating of cacao on the outside.
It's got berries, so it's got like definitely raspberry, definitely blackberry.
This seems lush, and I'm not.
This is really nice. This is the best one so far.
Too good for you.
Well, let's find out. I
Like,
got a
cover your
palate
fingers.
cleanse.
It's
What-
too rich. It's so rich. Ah!
Worst coronavirus thing ever because you have to lick your fingers together with all the chocolate.
I did wash mine before.
Melty
We
Kiss,
did.
My favourite so far.
I'm
Melty
not here
Kiss.
for that.
No.
It's a hot mess.
Well, we got one that's not. Enjoy, because there's still more to come.
It's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay. There's a lot
Or
happening.
potentially, I've just got layers and layers of 4 different chocolates now that are just combining to make
Meg,
a
Yeah,
whole
that's
weird.
the. We should have next time we bring
Palate
water. I think,
cleanse,
yeah.
yeah.
And again,
Tell me about the-
everything is in an individual wrapper because God forbid. No, it's not a four.
Thanks
Someone on the
God.
crew can grab that. Like yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you kindly.
I'm
Melty
gonna,
Kiss.
I'm gonna have such a
This
weird.
is a journey. You delivered, Jason.
Yeah, there's one more chocolate.
Oh,
Oh,
this
no,
is
there's not. I reckon this will be
cute.
the last chocolate we do.
Did you do a pack shot? No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, yeah. So they can get one later.
Oh, yep.
That's fine.
I'm gonna have some weird.
There's another
mouthfeel
one. It's got like
after
truffle or something on it. Oh,
Yes. This one.
they're pretty good.
So much sweeter.
Mm.
Less bitter.
Got a good mouthfeel.
This. Nah, this can get thrown directly into the sun. Not about it.
Let's do a
I think
swapsy.
it's a little bit buttery. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Why
how
are
to
we
describe it.
friends? I thought we were the same person.
You get into. It takes time. It takes time. You get into that sort of chew, and then the butter hits.
Ooh, yeah.
one more for the meme, and I'll let Jack explain this one.
The
and then
entire
that's how
show
we'll
is kind of
finish
a
it.
meme. Long me! Please go and watch the YouTube series. If you just search like Long Man Sakeru Gumi.
Hold it up, hold it up.
How do I? Oh man,
brand
can I
new
get
idea.
some like hot macro shots?
There we
I'm not
go.
sure I can, but maybe. Let's find out. There you go.
It's- It looks fantastic. What a novelty.
Can I
Do you
literally,
strip
like-
it down all the
I
way,
rip
or
it?
just as
Open
you
it, open
go?
it.
What's the journey here?
I'm terrified that I'll do it wrong though.
There is no wrong, you'll see. You've never had this before, have you?
Nah, never. But like, watch the videos, please.
Never getting candy for the first time.
I'm
Aw,
just gonna rip it.
Do it, do it, do it.
I'll use my teeth. No, I won't.
Don't use your teeth.
not today.
Nah. Don't.
There's another one over there. I can see it. You can have that.
Yeah. Don't spoil it. Come on.
Just pop it open.
There you go. And then grab it out. You'll see what I mean. Just pull it all the way out. Okay. So you can just snap it off.
There's some stretch. Can
It
I
does go-
actually do like the
Is this
rip?
bubble gum?
It does it automatically.
Oh, it's the biggest stringer.
It's so bad.
biggest stringer. Spot the Aussie.
I hate that. I hate that more than anything.
Jesus Christ.
Meg, what I want you to do
Yeah.
is to just like tear it right down the middle.
Okay.
Just like
So it is full 50 centimeters long.
long.
So you can literally do it by the individual strands. Like you
Oh,
go
it's
right
the
in.
classic grape
Like-
flavor.
Oh, I'm so hot for this.
Yeah.
Holy
Pull it
shit.
all the
Do
way
I
down.
swallow this? I was waiting for something like that to happen. Is it chewing gum? Is it chewing gum?
It's not a chewing
No,
gum, it's a
gummy. Get it.
Right,
Knock it
got
back.
it.
Alright, it's good.
No, I gotta go.
They're closed up on that too. Anyway, moral of the story is there's plenty of great stuff you can get in Melbourne from the. Let me finish. You talk.
Look, there's a lot of good stuff. The variety is still there.
Yeah.
Even if it's not necessarily as like sort of, it's not as aesthetically pleasing in some ways as the old country because the variety, like the established variety is there.
So mostly, especially in the city, you'll find a lot of your Japanese grocers,
Yeah.
even like Asian, like Korean, Chinese grocers as well. Will have a lot of this stuff. They usually have a dedicated section for it because there are a lot more Japanese living here, especially in the last few years. We'll put some links down the bottom. We don't necessarily want to give them a plug on for free on TV.
That's
so,
it.
yeah.
And my take on this is that if you're not sure about it, the packaging looks bizarre. Go for the flavors you're comfortable with trying, like grape, peach.
All I'll say
anything
is
like
Melty
that.
Kiss is the most expensive one there.
Right.
Are you surprised?
Treat yourself. Get into
So,
it.
yeah. But yeah, so if you want to check out more, don't forget to check Murasaki Gemu on Instagram, all those silliness. You'll see obviously posted on the New Game Plus page as well for now.
Yep.
And we'll be back with some more cool stuff very, very soon.
Hot off the heels of last year's critically acclaimed remake of Resident Evil 2, Capcom have decided to give the world another round of frightful zombie action. That's right, I'm talking none other than Resident Evil 3 that recently dropped for the PS4, Xbox One, and Steam platforms. Resident Evil 3 follows former STARS operative Jill Valentine as she prepares her departure from Raccoon City after the events of the first game. Before she can even put her boxes in the moving van, the city shifts into panic mode and buckles under the widespreading infection of the T-virus. Not only does Jill have to weave through hordes of the undead, but is relentlessly chased by a hulking heap of mass known as Nemesis, who will stop at nothing to ensure Jill's demise. The game absolutely shines running on the RE engine, with character models, facial animations, and lighting stealing the show at every given opportunity. Dialogue between characters spans from snippy and tense all the way into the delightful B-movie tropes we've all come to expect from Resident Evil, so it never fails to remain on brand. While there have been a few facelifts in the character design and dialogue department, the game mechanics is where you'll feel most familiar. Jill has been adapted well to fit the mold that the Resident Evil 2 remake had established, and a few additions such as Quick Step help emphasize a more combat-oriented feel. New enemy types up the ante and feel a lot quicker and dangerous than the stock standard zombie, to the point where the game demands super sharp reflexes on top of its trademark survival horror flavoured resource management. Despite these positives, the RE3 remake falls into the same trappings of its original game, the feeling that it was destined to be an expansion rather than its own fully fledged title. If you're not a fan of playing asymmetrical multiplayer and prefer single player content, there's not really much to do after playing the story, as all of the post-game content is relegated to additional weapons or items that bolster concurrent playthroughs rather than a mercenaries mode. Though if that's not a concern for you, you'll find Resident Evil 3 to be a solid enough update for the price of admission. If you enjoyed the original Resident Evil 3, chances are you'll know exactly what to expect going into the remake, and that's not a bad thing at all.
Well,
Well, that was Cart's thoughts on Resident Evil 3, and it's an interesting time to be a Resident Evil fan because suddenly everyone remembers how much fun those games were, and they're all being remade. And the news that came in between the release of 3 and the time we filmed this review is that 4 is being remade. So I figured I'd get Matt back to discuss just exactly why 4. Like, why 4? It's still a modern enough game that I don't necessarily think that it needs redoing just yet. That can't just be me, surely.
I actually do agree with that sentiment, and I'm probably the biggest Resident Evil nut going around. I think there's plenty of games that definitely do deserve it. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is an exceptional game. I still rate it as one of my highest, I guess, rated games of all time, let alone Resident Evil titles. But I think definitely Resident Evil 4, aside from maybe a couple of weird muddy textures, which is to be expected with games that have come out 15 years. I mean, it's hard to believe that RE4 is 15 years old.
So it'd surely be about 15. It'd have to be because it was a late GameCube. So yeah,
it is late GameCube era. Back around a time where I think there was a total of maybe 8 people in Australia that owned GameCubes at that point in time. And that was the killer app. That was the game that it just took a little while for it to come out. But I think aside from a couple of muddy textures, RE4 is perfect the way it is. It doesn't really need updating, so to speak.
Yeah, and because that is the thing. I think there's so many games in the series that probably needed this first. It's interesting to see that this is where they went with it. So like even RE1, Resi 1, yeah, they've done 0 and they did 0 and 1 kind of refresh with the graphics and stuff like that. But I mean, like, the fun you could have with the original mansion, the fun you could have with Billy and the girl doing the kind of the switching, like
Billy and the girl.
Billy and the girl.
Billy and the girl. Sorry, my cat's actually getting in the shot because she loves talking about video games too. So I'm just gonna put her down. Not in that sense.
No, don't do that.
No.
There's no kill shelters out there.
So with Resident Evil 0 and 1, like, I am an absolute massive sucker for pre-rendered backgrounds, and the ones in the remake, the GameCube remake and 0 are still perfect even today. And like probably the best thing they did was to remaster it, the ones that they did around about 5 years ago, because they were perfect.
Yep. Yeah, and that to me is the thing. It has to me. I have to feel that it has to be a licensing issue. Why not Code Veronica? Like, Code Veronica is begging for it. Like, I mean, that was the original. Was it the original 3 or the original 4? And then
So it was going to be the original 3. So what happened was Code Veronica was originally meant to be Resident Evil 3. I think Sony cracked a bit of a hissy fit saying we want one more last hurrah on the PlayStation, and it's not going to be Gun Survivor because nobody liked Gun Survivor. So Capcom decided to throw them a bone and essentially release RE3 as we know and we see today. Yeah,
so and that of course being so, I don't know. I feel like I'm glad that they're doing all this. Obviously, there's the rumor about Biohazard 8 coming out as well.
8 seems like the logical. Essentially, if anyone saw footage of Resident Evil 3.5 with all the supernatural elements being in a castle in Europe, the rumors of Resident Evil 8 seem like they've taken all of the concepts of 3.5 and are actually making it into a fully fledged game. I'm actually probably more excited for that than a 4 remake, if the rumors are true. But, yeah,
because it is that thing. I still think 4 is just too modern a game. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it, because realistically, 2 and 3 are still good games in and of themselves. I think they capture the spirit of it, and we really have hit a different era of good game remakes with that and Final Fantasy VII. But I don't know, man. I feel that 4 of all of the Resident Evil games, 4 doesn't need it the most. Like, remake 6 first.
In my honest opinion, I think that 4 remake was more of a marketing executive decision rather than a creative one. But that's just me. That's just pure speculation. They know it'll sell.
Like, I mean, how many copies have they sold of the games on like all the new platforms, no matter what, anyway.
I know I've got like 3 or 4 copies of them already.
So, and I mean, none of them will ever be better than the Wii version, which is the sad reality of that. But True. I don't know, I guess, it sounds like you're excited for 8. I mean, I'll play 4 if it comes out. I mean, hopefully they give it a little bit more time in the oven. It sounds like 3 was a little bit undercooked.
Yeah, I think 4 needs a bit more time in the oven. We need to have at least like 5 separate animations of Leon suplexing goons, and I'm set. Like that's it. I'm
And
all
running from
signed
boulders,
up.
not punching them. Yeah.
Exactly,
All right.
exactly.
Thank you, Matt. We will leave it there. Don't forget to check us out, guys, at newgameplus.tv. Don't forget to also check out Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, all at New Game Plus TV as well. Murasaki Gemu content will be out in the wild as well now, so don't forget to either go to newgameplus.tv and search Murasaki, or there should be a landing page for you there as well. And we will see you guys next time.